Alright, so you have found yourself in the verse with a crime stat. You can see that all the time in the upper right of your HUD. It's also visible in your Moby glass, right there in the upper left. A crime stat 1 and 2 is no big deal. People will not be able to actively track you across the system, but if you have a crime stat 3, 4, or 5, people will get a mission that spawns in their bounty hunter tab to come and get you. They will get your pip, they will be able to track you across the system, and it won't be a good look for you. We're going to read a little bit about the crime stat problem. Most people don't read this, but it's a nice little piece of lore in the journal. It's a good reminder that the journal exists. First and foremost, we're going to take a trip to Yela, or Yela, depending on your IQ. Wherever you are in space, you may or may not need to go to Yela, to Grim HEX, to pick up a hacking chip. We'll show you the process for picking up one of those hacking chips. If you already have a hacking chip, lucky you, you stocked up. You get to skip this part and on to the next step. Find Grim HEX among the asteroids. Spool your quantum drive and get into the hangars just as soon as you can. And here we are entering one of the hangars. Try to get inside the Armistice Zone as quickly as you can. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find these hangars, but they are on the main asteroid of Grim HEX. Once out of our ship, we're going to make our way to the elevator as soon as possible. Elevators are pretty quick here at Grim HEX, unlike other places. We're going to want to go to the lobby. Once at the lobby, we're going to run straight to the main elevator. And we're going to try to take this elevator down to the main concourse of Grim HEX. If you ever spawn at Grim HEX, you'll take these elevators up to the lobby. And now we've arrived at the main concourse. Not an issue. Once out of the elevators, come up the stairs, take a left, and head all the way to the left until you see the white arrow on the wall there. Down the hall and to the right, you'll see an empty, broken down shop. Not much happening here, except these handy little cards that you see laying on here. You can see that you want to buy those. There are different types. Reauthorizer is the most reliable. Ripper is the least reliable, but also the fastest. Reauthorizer is quite slow. I typically buy the Reauthorizer. Less of a chance that you're going to have to restart the hack, or that the hack is going to have problems. But it's always good to buy multiples. And we're out of here. Make your way back to the elevator. And just as soon as we came to Grim HEX, we are going to leave it. Arriving back at the main lobby. If you were really quick, you may not need to respawn your ship, but I would recommend storing your ship and respawning it, just for stability's sake. Make sure you have a fresh ship. Make our way down to our ship's hangar. We're going to hop in our anvil arrow and get over there. Two options. When we get to our location, you can either use a very heavy ship, it's very tanky, or you can use a very light ship that is very good at ignoring turret fire and making them miss. Before you leave, though, we're going to want to equip one of these hacking chips in our utility slot. Always choose the top utility slot. Save changes and equip. That's before you get in your ship. We want to do that well before we leave. Now, if you've heard the announcer saying that they're going to have to store my ship, you'll see me panicking, which is always a good thing, and trying to get out of here as fast as possible. This information is going to come in very handy in just a moment. At this point, I'm screaming, but my microphone was muted. All right, they've opened the door. We're going to try our fastest to get out of here. This right here would be why you often have a better chance with storing your ship and pulling it back out. Gives you that fresh 3 to 5 minute timer to get out there. Jump to Yela proper. That's going to allow you to jump to other places a little bit more readily. And then we're going to make our way to one of 4 points in the universe. At the nearby planet of Selen, there's a security post Korea. Probably heard about this place. This is a place that we can hack in. But there are other places you can go. Microtech has a location. It is a data center. It's called MT Data Center 4HJ. MT Data Center 4HJ. Now keep in mind, there are travel times associated with this. Another one is at ArcCorp on the moon of Lyria. You have the Lyria Security Depot that you can go to as well. So always keep that in mind. And we're going to show you the 4th location. Double right click on your map, that'll zoom you out. Double click on any entity, bring you in. On the main planet of Hurston, you have a Hurston Security Depot as well. That is another bunker related place. The places on Microtech, ArcCorp Lyria, and Hurston, those 3 locations, all require you to murder a bunch of guards and deal with some heavy turrets. They are better places to go because they're underground and relatively safe if you have a CS3 through CS5, because players are going to be tracking you. Security Post Korea, on the other hand, is very exposed, very open, but if players aren't tracking you, nobody knows that you're going there. So if you have a CS1 or a CS2, you'll want to go there. Now, once we've arrived at Selen, we are going to spool for Security Post Korea. Always good to set your routes beforehand as long as you're not too far away. And here we are at Security Post Korea. It looks pretty small in the distance. We want to check our EM and IR and see our detection range. We are good from about 6 kilometers out. Remember when I said it's a great idea to store your ship and pull it back out again before you left? Well, this is one of the many reasons why. Bummer. Anyway, with no technical difficulties whatsoever, we're back at Security Post Korea. Again, we're going to be checking our EM and IR. We do have a bogey. Found out that this is an NPC. We're going to leave him alone. Unlikely that he'll come and attack us. So there are 2 spots that you can hide on Security Post Korea. There are 2 of these large solar panels, one at either end of the station. And as you can see, the station has now targeted me, and a bunch of these turrets are popping up. These turrets are pretty nasty. They will take out most ships. Your other option is to get a really big heavy ship that has something like FR-86 shields. And we're going to come in underneath one of these solar panels. Now, tucking underneath one of these solar panels is not a particularly easy maneuver for a newer pilot, but if you slide in there quickly, make sure your shields stay up during the process, you'll be safe from all the turrets. Now, this is going to involve some EVA, extravehicular activity, and it takes a little while to get down there. Again, this is not a great place to go if you have a CS3, CS4, or CS5. Reason being, in this EVA, players can track you, and hilarity will ensue for them as they crush your body against Security Post Korea, claiming your bounty and sending you to Klesher Rehabilitation. Now, we're getting closer to the pads now, and as we get closer to the pads, you may want to consider equipping a weapon, doing one last quick check of your equipment. There are several hazards within Security Post Korea that you're going to want to be aware of. We'll talk about those. Doing a good face plant Your best impersonation of Simone Biles is a great idea. And we're going to do it again just to show you the glory that could be coming from EVA to gravity. Look how smooth that was. All right, we want to double check our outfitting. We've got the reauthorizer equipped. We've got our weapons equipped just in case. And we've got some armor on. That's always a good start. You can buy weapons, armor, ammunition, med pens, etc. at Grim HEX. Always try to land on the topmost pad. You want to come in at the topmost door of the station. Feel free to explore this station anytime. You don't have to come here when you're wanted. There are some missions that spawn here. One of the hazards of Security Post Korea is that it often spawns missions in FPS for players. At random intervals are those missions available. And if a player spawns one of those missions, it will spawn in lots of bad guys that will attack anyone they see, including you. Make your way to the bottom center console, press 4 to pull out your hacking chip and insert into the slot on the left side. Now this is a crypto key, so it's going to take a while to hack into the system. And there are lots of windows on the upper side. You can see you're very exposed down here. CIG has done that on purpose. Clearing your CrimeStat is not supposed to be a very secure, very easy thing without some challenge involved. The other locations in Stanton that we talked about before are much more secure and safe. However, they also require you to commit extra murders of the security guards on site, which may take you a lot longer to clear your CrimeStat, which you'll see in just a moment. As the hacking chip goes through, you can see it's got several quadrants to make it through. Each of those quadrants has a chance to fail at the beginning of each of those quadrants, so you're going to have to keep checking back on it. Now, there are several threats here. A blue player could come in at any time and shoot you. If he has the call to arms mission, he will send you to jail. If he doesn't have your bounty, and he doesn't have call to arms, him killing you will simply send you back to Grim HEX, starting the process again. But we're going to check on our hacking chips over and over. Stay as hidden as you can. You always want to be checking these windows. Star Citizen is a pretty heavy peeker's advantage at the moment, which means the person who comes around the corner first is usually going to get the first chance to fire on somebody else. You're definitely going to want to listen to audio cues as well. You may be able to hear another player in a ship as they fly by or try to land. Now, the reason we use the reauthorizer is so that we can stay pretty mobile. Using the reauthorizer has a pretty small chance to lock up at each one of those quadrants, so we can stay pretty mobile, running around the station, checking for other players that may be coming in to claim our bounties, etc., etc. Now, as mentioned before, the reauthorizer is the slowest of several different types, but it is the most reliable. We haven't had to reset this hacking at all. It hasn't locked up on us. And I'm going to mention it again. We are CS2, not CS3, so we don't probably have any players coming after us actively. But if a player comes by the station for some other reason, they may kill us. Security Post Korea is definitely a bit of a Wild West zone. Players can kill players for just about any reason here, and you're definitely going to want to keep that in mind. And if you see another player at Security Post Korea and you're hacking your bounty, I recommend shooting first and asking questions later. Most people here are going to kill you first. I recommend doing that as well. Now, it looks like we've made it through this entire hack without any lockups. If it does lock up, the whole screen will turn red, and you'll be given a prompt to continue the hack via clicking a button in the lower right corner. But again, the reauthorizer is very reliable. It's also quite slow. This hack takes a while. If you used something like a Ripper or an Ice Pick, which are available at New Babbage Commons, you may have more lockups, but you'd also make it through this process much shorter. This process takes about 5 minutes with the reauthorizer. It takes about 3 minutes with the Ice Pick and the Ripper. And there are others that are kind of in between speeds and reliabilities as well. Our hack is almost complete. And we've gained access. Locating requested records. Now you can see all the wrongs that we've committed. Sometimes this list is going to be pretty long, and we're going to want to click on the appropriate buttons to exonerate ourselves. It doesn't matter which reason you choose. I always choose mental incompetence because that one is likely the most accurate, at least for my gameplay. And these ones go by pretty fast. There are other ones like homicides or destructions of vehicles that will end up taking quite a bit longer to clear, and we're done. Fabulous work. We have now cleared our crime stat. We are ready to go take bounty missions and to be a general good guy in the verse again. Congratulations. Your crime stat is clear. And that's it. You're done.